Good morning. It is Wednesday. Last day of my week, at least here on the show. I wish it was day of my week in the real world. But it is good to be here. It is Wednesday. It's crazy Wednesday. And I get, you got to start off with the news that everybody's talking about. FAA closing the airport in El Paso last night. And if you're an aviation geek like I am, you're listening to I think it was a Southwest flight that came in, and this Southwest flight comes in and they tell them that they're putting a lid on it. That's basically it. And that's kind of standard. They close airspace all the time. It's if you're a pilot, or if you have pilots for relatives, or if you just are into small planes and stuff, they put a lid on places on occasion. Usually like sporting events, bigger things like that, military reasons. And here you go, last flight in last night, and they go planning on leaving again once you drop off? And he goes, no, we're headed to the hotel. And the air traffic controller goes, yeah, you probably didn't hear this yet, but we're closed for 10 days. Now, as of recording of this, I've seen two different reports. One saying that they're back open, they're going to resume. Southwest Airlines announced that, but no official word as of yet. At least as of the time we record, just so you know. Just if you're watching either later in the day or in the future. So kind of an interesting thing. Of course, being a news guy, I love this kind of stuff, and so I've spent a good part of my morning looking into this, and long ground stops have not happened for over 25 years. And so this kind of an interesting situation, something that will follow. And for those of us that travel for a living, it's always kind of, it's scary, because you sit there and you go, what would I do in El Paso? Nothing against El Paso. Love El Paso. Great place, great food. Oh, yes. Love going to El Paso, getting some great food. But in all honesty, what do I do for 10 days? Or do I drive out? And of course, that was the talk, but even like San Antonio is 500 miles away, because it's like, it's Texas for you. Everything in Texas is like huge. Distances are huge. So conflicting reports as we go to air, whether it is open or not. We'll follow the story. And of course, you know me. If you follow me on social media, I'll geek out about this, and we'll be talking about it definitely throughout the rest of today. And just kind of, it's one of those things. And of course, the early reports, somebody, and again, unconfirmed reports saying it was a drone incident. Does that start to scare you? Are you like I am, and especially with the way drones are now becoming bigger, and it was all fine and good when we all wanted to take pictures of our house from above our house, and maybe cross over certain areas. But are we to a point, and again, these are all unconfirmed reports, but if it is a drone, are we starting to feel kind of uncomfortable with what people are doing with these drones? And does that make you feel apprehensive about certain things, especially not as much if you fly on a commercial airline, but if you're flying on a little Cessna or something like that? Hey, a drone, especially these now good sized drones, they could do harm to your plane. Goodness. So anyway, that's the news this morning. Kind of something that I felt like it would be remiss not to talk about, even though it's kind of now, is it open? Is it closed? Is it open? I went to 3 sources, including AP, and even AP was like, oh, could be open. Rumors that it's open. Southwest Airlines is saying it's open, but that's not the FAA. And at that point, when we've come to airtime, there was no confirmed report. So kind of an interesting thing. We'll keep following it. And if there's an update during the show, I've got it actually notified to my phone. We'll come in and give you that news here on the network. Thanks so much for watching us on Abundant TV. I don't say this enough, and I started earlier this week. you can watch this show not only on social media, which is kind of neat, and it's a great way to introduce the show to you. But the real purpose is this is a live show on our TV network. And if you don't know what Abundant TV is and you are watching via social media, Abundant TV is a faith driven app that is available with Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and on your favorite device. If you have your phone or your iPad, or if you're an Android person, on your Android phone or app, or all kinds of those. And something somebody said, because I had said about your iPad, watching us on an iPad, and I was very much corrected. A lady on our app sent me a note and said Android has apps also, and you can watch on an Android pad, notepad type thing, and I don't know what they're all called over there in that world. I'm an Apple person. I'm sorry, just the way it is. But anyway, so you can watch via those. Also, you can get it in the Google Store or in the Apple Store, and we appreciate it. Today, National Latte Day. Every day is a good day for lattes. Hey, listen, we want to thank the great folks at 7 Weeks Coffee. 7 Weeks Coffee, I've talked about it over time. It's delicious. It's amazing coffee. If you've never had a small batch, small roast coffee before, you need to try this. And I know everybody tries to sell you coffee or tells you this coffee's better, or, I don't go to Starbucks, drink local or whatever. This is game changing coffee, not only for the purpose that they serve, but for the fact that the coffee is just incredible. It is good stuff. You need to check it out at 7weekscoffee.com. Use the promo code ATV10. And for me, I personally like dark roast, but get the variety pack to start with. Try it all out. Especially if you like your coffee to have maybe just a bit of flavor to it, the morning blend has just a hint of caramel to it. It's amazing. Hey, listen, also, before you start getting healthy again, because Super Bowl's over, but you got to check out the great folks at my-snackies.com. That's my-snackies.com. They sponsor our Look-In Cam, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Mackinac Bridge. They call it the Mighty Mac. It is an incredible engineering marvel, and up near Mackinac Island, it's fantastic. My wife and I love going up there. It looks just slightly cold right now. Yes, that is actually ice. And you can go from the mainland to Mackinac Island right now on an ice bridge, not on that bridge, but on an ice bridge. So we want to thank the great folks at my-snackies.com. That's my-snackies.com with the Look-In Cam. And you know what? It isn't Monday, but it doesn't feel right to miss. And I wasn't going to be able to be here. So we rescheduled Molly. Molly's going to be with us. We're going to do Mondays on a Wednesday. We're going to do that after these very important messages.
Behind every precious life, there was a choice. Behind every family moment, behind every special memory, there was a choice. A life of joy. A life that is beautifully and wonderfully made. At 7 Weeks Coffee, we are funding the pro-life movement, one cup at a time. Will you let your coffee serve a greater purpose?
Great, folks. 7 Weeks Coffee. That's 7weekscoffee.com. Use the promo code ATV10 when you order. I appreciate that. They appreciate it. My wife actually, and the great story about that, my wife found them and then contacted them. And about a year ago, we got a chance to meet with them when we were in Dallas. And just a fantastic group of people. Great company. Check them out. 7weekscoffee.com. It is, as I said, it's Mondays with Molly on a Wednesday. I don't know what that means, but it's today. It's what we do. We make our own stuff up because you know what? We are not rule followers. That is right. Exactly. if you could say anything about the morning break with Rob Patz is that we follow no rules except FAA rules. Those are important. We do follow those just in case you're watching. Yeah. And I don't know. It's National Latte Day. And
Mm.
I for the life of me can't remember, Molly, do you drink coffee?
If I do, it is literally just for the community and it's something sweet like a latte. So a hazelnut or a vanilla latte, caramel latte. I mean, I'm here for it, but it's basically just a bunch of sugar. So, yes, it's a sweet treat.
So I have to tell you something. So Chris and I did the whole Daniel fast where we cut out sugar. And I will tell you, and it is a plug for the coffee. Normally I use cream in my coffee. I use some kind of creamer in my coffee. And I was really that's like one of the toughest parts of doing the Daniel fast because you're cutting out sugar. And I'll tell you, their coffee is so smooth that you don't need sugar
Mm.
with it, which is incredible. It is great. That is part of what I'm not selling that part because you should put creamer in your coffee if you feel need. But I wanted to talk to you about something. It's incredible to see what happens when you stop eating sugar. And I know
Yes.
you're like a real workout person. Have you ever done a cleanse where you haven't had sugar for like a week?
For a whole week? I don't think so. I actually was reflecting earlier this year. I've never even done a Daniel fast. And I was like, interesting. So I just went straight for no food, 1, 2, 3 days, and that's it. And just getting rid of all of it. I'm not a huge sweets person. Like I'll have some stuff. So it's about that time that, let's try this out and see where this goes. Cause it shocked me that I hadn't done that yet.
So the Daniel fast really is interesting because it's no sugar. It's basically eating very natural foods, which I don't like. I like really processed foods. I'm a processed like pizza, Taco Bell, anything that, probably is mostly just chemicals. But it's a scary thing that happens when you get to this point, Molly, is you start reading the ingredients in some of the foods that we're putting in our mouth, and you go, okay, if I don't know what this is, why am I digesting it? And I was like, I freaked out. We've gone now we're eating street tacos, which are everything is super like no additives, all the ingredients. But even the taco shell, the street taco shell is the blue corn shell, which is basically blue corn, and they just smash it into a and I'll tell you, it's hard because I kind of like some additives because it makes it more flexible. Like the blue shells kind of go, they are soft, but you kind of go, "Eh," and then it just like all of it, all of the stuff falls out of the bottom. But I tell you this, out of that, I feel 100% better. Like my joints and stuff don't hurt. And again, I'm not going to become one of these people that goes, everyone needs to stop eating sugar because reality is coming up next week, we travel. We're going to be at the National Religious Broadcasters in Nashville, and I'm going to do some serious damage. I'm going to be in the Sky Club on Sunday. I'm already planning this Sky Club on Sunday. I'll be eating cheese, and if the Rice Krispie bars are out in the Sky Club, there may be some even going into my bag. Don't judge me. By the way, if you're one of those tattletales, really, that when you're in the Sky Club and there are people that'll go, he's sneaking stuff into his bag. Yeah, I'm sneaking stuff into my bag. Do you know how much I pay every year to be able to come into the Sky Club? Listen, Karen, leave me alone as I'm taking my Rice Krispie treat to my hotel. So
It's a
anyway,
Rice
but
Krispie treat. Come on.
it's a Rice. Yeah, Delta's not going broke with me pocketing an extra Rice Krispie treat for later.
Not at all.
Um, but anyway, so want to talk about some motivation because this is our chance to get together, and I wanted to. Here's the thing I was thinking, and we didn't even talk about this ahead of time, but I wanted to ask you about this. So now you're kind of deep into the year. It is, we're almost 45 days into 2026, which seems crazy. How do you stay if you're a business owner? How do you stay motivated? What is motivating a business owner now that you've trudged through the snow and the awful weather? No matter where you were in the United States, you probably, unless you were in the desert, you got snow in the month of January. Kind of the whole month kind of hits you, and all the things coming up. How do you stay motivated now? How do you, or if you've lost motivation, how do you restart it?
The best way to stay motivated is by being in the right rooms. It's like whether that's a Facebook group, whether you're paying to be in a mastermind, whether you are, being coached by somebody, a Bible study. I mean, it's literally being in the right rooms because who you're listening to, how you're actively growing will dictate where you are right now and the rest of the year. And even though we're 45 days in, there's still so much more time. We're only in chapter 2 of 12 in 2026. So I've really prioritized what rooms am I in? What rooms do I need to leave? Who am I allowing to speak into me? And because our thoughts become the seed, and then our seeds come in, and then our thoughts are watering the seed, and that eventually will produce some kind of a harvest. So if we're thinking, oh, it's too late, I've already X, Y, and Z, just hit the refresh button. And I'm a very like self-motivated, goal-oriented person, but I've had to hit the refresh button a couple times this year because there's certain things that have come up that were not expected. And I'm like, whoa, like what's happening here? One being my husband is enlisting in the army, and that is a big news for our family. Never saw that coming, but I'm very happy for him and what's going to transpire. I had to hit a reset button of like, okay, well, this is going to drastically change what our year looks like. However, Lord, what's the next step? That's usually my process to make sure I'm staying in alignment with all the crazy and chaos that may be coming at me.
So how did I want to ask, since you brought it up. So how did that process, how did he tell you, hey, listen, hey, honey, I'm going to enlist, cause no offense, but he's not like 18. Just for those of you that are maybe wondering, he's not
Yes,
18. So
yes, definitely not.
this is not a, hey, I'm out of high school and I got to figure out what I'm doing type moment. This is, so how walk us through how he told you that, hey, honey, I decided I want to enlist.
He's brought it up before, and I was super against it. I'm like, no, that's drastically going to change everything. No. But then when it came up again, there was this piece that was on it that I was like, this is interesting. So I was so against it before. And then when he really like shared, I want to make a huge pivot in my life. I've actually always had a desire to go into the military. I feel like now's the open window. And when he described like in detail why he wants to go in, what he wants to do, what it'll do for our family, how it'll set us up, the benefits, the perks, all of it. I said, okay. And I just felt his conviction of I want to do this. And I said, okay, you have followed me in all my crazy business journeys and all these different things. So I can at least support you in this, even though I know this will drastically change our lives. So it was one of those where we've had little conversations leading up to it. Never thought I was serious until he was like, I'm studying to take the test. And I saw him actively working on his physical fitness. My husband is in his early 30s. And so, yes, he is a little bit on they call it the older side, but I didn't know this, and most people don't. They actually want experienced men or women to come in. So it's not all these, young kids that are coming in with no experience. So they're excited about that. And I'm excited for him for what he will learn and everything that will come out of it. So I'm buckled in for the roller coaster ride of wherever this is going to take us.
So when does he go in? Because for a lot of people, they don't know this process, but when is his, when does he go in and enlist, and when does this all happen?
So as we were talking about this, today is the actual day that he takes his physical fitness test and he signs on the dotted line to enlist. And then he will be leaving at the end of March. So it can be different for everybody. It could be 2 weeks, 30 days, 3 months, several months. It just depends on when they have openings for training. And he will be in Fort Benning, Georgia for 5 months for training. So I will be here in Nevada where we live. He will be there. So that will be different because we've been side by side working together since we've known each other, since we've been married. So that will be quite the pivot and change. So like I said, in the beginning of all this, when we were talking about motivation, sometimes you just have to hit the reset button because things will start to creep in, thoughts, fears. The enemy's trying to find any little, and I'm like, no. Like, I'm not going to think about things I don't want. I'm only going to think about the things that are going to be a benefit. And then wherever the Lord leads, I know he'll provide.
So for him, as he is, I know he's a creative because we talk about this, and but the audience may not know this, but what's his plan once he gets in? Where does he want to go?
That was a discussion we had literally less than 24 hours ago of like, okay, here's some of they call it MOSs, meaning like, here's some of the jobs that you can pick up. And I'm like, I have reading some of these lines. I'm like, this is gibberish to me. What do you mean you need help picking? I have no clue, but he is great with his mind. He loves doing tactical stuff. Also what else? There was communications and media, which everybody's like, you need to go into that. And he's built his media business for the last 6, 7 years, and he's kind of like done with that at the moment. And so who knows where he'll exactly go, and he's discovering that. So we're kind of joking. It's kind of like when somebody fresh out of college is trying to, or sorry, fresh out of high school is trying to pick what they want to do in college, and they just go undeclared. Well, you can't really do
Yes.
that. So you just have to pick something and then just figure it out. And if you want to change it later, you can. So I have a strong feeling he'll find that very soon. But I have, as of right now, I have no clue.
Well, and see, I think that's interesting. Something you said is like in life, I think we can set a reset button that, you know, at his age, and trust me, I totally get it. About his age, I was pretty much done with the media. I was had a few more years in because for some stupid reason I started younger. But I about third in my early 30s, I wanted to hit the reset button. And I kind of did in a way where I went from being talent to being behind the scenes and doing that stuff. And so I think that and I got a great chance yesterday to talk to a friend of mine, and I want to bring this up to you. And we were talking about how life is full of moments where the unsurety of the moment can make us feel anxious, but the peace that God brings changes all of that. You know, yes, in ourselves, we go, okay, God, what is this? I don't feel comfortable, but I know your hand is upon it. And so I admire your husband for doing it. It's a big, I mean, that's a big lift for him. He's changing everything, and it's gonna be cool. It's cool for him. But for you, and you talked about it and this is something that was not again, none of this was planned for today. But talk about what it's like for you right now as you're working through this, where your husband's not only changing careers, but he's moving. Like, I mean, this is like big change. This is not just a, hey, honey, I'm leaving the insurance company I currently work for and I'm going to go sell real estate. This is, hey, honey, I'm going to sign up and I'll probably be gone for 5 months. How are you dealing with that? How do you? It's a faith thing, and there are probably wives out there just like you that are dealing with this. Give them advice on how to deal with this.
I would say the what I have always done up until now was just kind of suppress the emotions of we don't have time to deal with that. Just keep moving, especially as a business owner. However, the more I'm just like, okay, Lord, there's something here. I don't need to suppress. I've allowed these emotions to come up. I've allowed myself to cry, to already miss him before he's gone, right? Like I have allowed that to come up, and that's healthy. And then also having an outlet. And I'm super grateful. I have had so many connections that literally just have come out of the woodworks of if you need anything, if you need support, if you need this and that, let me plug you in, let me connect you. So we have already seen an immense amount of support, which means everything because I don't really know what exactly we've signed up for, but we have seen other people go through it and it can be a crazy journey. So ultimately, it's like, don't stuff it down. Allow it to come up and allow the feelings to emerge so then the Lord can be able to meet you there because there can be feelings of anger or maybe even resentment or all these things that build up because we had our own ideas and then it made a total shift and pivot. And that's when he first brought it up, I was more in the absolutely not, we're not pivoting that hard. That is crazy. And now I'm like, wow, I guess we are. And we'll see where life goes because we don't have that control. But what we do have control is how we express it. So make sure you're expressing it. Find, like one or two people that you can really be honest with. And I've been able to find that just to tell them, like in the raw, like this is where I'm at. I'm okay now, or I'm more than okay at the moment. But once he leaves, I'm like I might be a puddle. And if I told my husband, I was like I might end up getting a dog if I really get lonely. He's like okay. I'm like, since you're gone, I might need to replace in a sense with the dog. He's like, no problem. Let's just talk about what type of dog. He doesn't want to
Yes.
come home to a little thing. He wants like
Yeah.
a dog. And I was like, okay. So we've made fun with it. We've had a good time about it, but like be real with those emotions. At the end of the day, you have to, because otherwise those are cracks that the enemy can get in and start making something out of nothing. And I've seen that play out in other areas of my life. And so I'm like, not here, not with something this big when he's literally going to be going into, it feels like a whole nother realm. Like the military is a whole other realm that most people don't get exposed to. But we also, and I'll end it with this, we look at this as a new mission field that the Lord gave us, and how Johnny can really be able to take his giftings to the front lines, if you will, and be able to speak into men. And maybe I will have opportunities to speak into other women and do other things, and wherever the Lord wants it to go. So I'm looking at it for how can we be used as a gift and a tool for the kingdom, and just be real with our feelings in the process so we can just work from there.
And I think it's so great that you the thing you brought up about communication. It is such a key to have communication in life decisions like this, and you know where you're going and what you're doing. Kristen and I were early in our marriage when we decided to start Abundant TV, and we had to have some real hard discussions because I came from a background in TV, and I went, "This is what's going to happen, and this is the hill we're climbing. If we're going to do this together, this is what's going to take." And so I think the biggest thing, and what Molly said is so amazingly true, is be very open and be very candid. In the little time we've got left, hey, I want to talk about a show you're a part of called Salted on the
Yes.
network. And of course, you can watch Molly every day, Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern time with her show. But she's also part of another show called Salted. Tell everybody a little bit about it.
Well, I am thrilled that we have myself, Stephanie, Trudy, guests that will be coming in every week. Where it's the salt that you need. It's not just this sugar coated word of like, here's what's going on in the world and gossip and things that don't matter. These are true conversations that are hitting women everywhere, women that are believers of real things that we're facing, real things that are happening in society, real things that feel like maybe are plaguing us, and what can we do about it? Let's have that conversation. And we're very like much of the mind of, tell us what are things that are on your mind that you would like to talk about. And so it's been really refreshing. And we've only done 2 episodes so far, but each time somebody is like, this was an on time message. This is exactly what I needed to hear. And I just love it when the Holy Spirit does that. So it's so
Yeah.
fun to be a part of a group of women that just want to bring truth and light into the media industry, a talk show where it can be pretty dark. So I'm
Totally.
excited to see where that goes, and people just to really tune in and get fed by it.
And it's like real conversation. It is
Yes.
really cool. And I love that you three have just meshed together amazing. New episode, they're getting ready to tape. We've got February's out. It is actually also on the demand part of our thing. And you can see it throughout the month on the network in case you missed the on-demand part. And man, it's so cool. Hey Molly, I know you got other things going on. How do people get in contact with you?
Yes, I would say easiest way, Molly Gomez across the board. The Molly Gomez on Instagram, Molly Gomez on LinkedIn, anywhere. Signaturestoryco.com is my website. Feel free to reach out and just let me know, even if it's just a casual conversation on social. I still answer my own DMs because I love being able to connect with people. And just let us know, like, what is it that you love watching on the show or anything on the network? Any suggestions? If there are things that you want to learn and get more information on, this is a two-way street. So share that with us, and I would love to connect.
That's it. Hey, Molly, we're here with you on this journey. I'm excited. I want once we go through basic, we want to start seeing pictures of like him, like jumping out of airplanes or whatever he does.
I will be happy to report as it goes on.
That's it. Hey, Molly's with us. It's not Monday, but it is Mondays with Molly. Thanks so much for being with us, Molly. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Where has the time gone? Gone by way too fast. I did see a notification, not sure what it was, but follow me on social media and I'll tell you what's happening with man, it's been a great week. Hey, Monday, jumping in for me since I will be in Nashville, Tennessee, enjoying the National Religious Broadcasters. Jody Powell will be with you on the morning break. He's going to do an amazing job. He's got great guests lined up. It's just going to be a lot of fun. Hey, listen, we appreciate you. Thanks for watching us on Abundant TV and across our social media network. We appreciate you. Go out. Hey, we hope you've had a great day. Go out and enjoy the rest of it. This has been the morning break.